I'm James Parker, and this is Florida Story. Thank you so much. All right, for our first Florida story, this is an interesting one. What we have here is a shark attack. Now, that doesn't sound too amazing, right? Well, this is starting to get weird because I've been reporting on a lot of shark bites, and this is, I think, the third time in the last few months that I've reported on a shark bite specifically in the Florida Keys. Now, this show's so ridiculous, you probably think this happens every day, but shark bites kind of are relatively rare. The difference about this story, the reason it's making Florida stories, not just because it's a shark bite and, a human being came across the ocean's perfect killing machine. The guy got bit on land. And that kind of blows my mind. I don't think I've ever reported that before. Even as strange as Florida Stories has been over the last, 5 years of reporting here. So I don't know specifically how the shark got on the dock. That is not mentioned in the story. But a guy was fishing off a pier, and there was a shark that was on the dock that bit his leg. Okay, so this is not what any of us pictured at all. But you go through some of these other shark stories, and there begins to be a picture painted, because when you look at some of the other shark bites in the Florida Keys in this same area, they've been pretty weird here. We actually have had plenty of shark bites that are in the water, but I found where the last two that I reported on the show were from dudes that were spearfishing. Do you know what spearfishing is? Okay, so you're imagining, you walk out into a river or maybe into the ocean or, off a beach somewhere with a spear and you try and stab a fish like in Blue Lagoon or something. But in this one, there's an added level of Florida difficulty because they are spearfishing about 70 feet underwater. So these guys are in scuba gear and they're going down into these schools of fish and trying to stab them at 70 feet deep. And so there's a weird thing that happens once you are moderately successful in spearfishing is that, you hit a couple fish here and there, and all of a sudden the water's just chummed up with blood, and here comes the sharks. Now, something I would like to point out, as you can't see me, you're going to have to take my word for it, but as an American who is 1/4 Hispanic and 3/4 white, I'm going to have to play my 1/4 Hispanic card here and look at the white side of me and be like, this is a phenomenon that is only happening with white Americans. There is not any other race of people that for just funsies are putting on scuba gear and going underwater and spearfishing, not for fun. Not for food, but just for fun. Like this is your recreation. Fine. You almost deserve to get bit by a shark. So white people, there's a little internal soul searching we need to do, because I'm tired of us hurting ourselves in such weird, extreme X Games type Florida circumstances. It's really embarrassing. Hold my beer.
Hold my beer.
Hold my beer.
Hold my beer. What is it?
For our next Florida story, the headline says quite simply, "The shocking moment. A 63-year-old man is brutally attacked inside a Florida movie theater after asking a couple to move a pre-booked VIP seat." It is 100% exactly what you think. If a 63-year-old Florida man shows up at the theater, and these days you can reserve certain seats if you buy them in advance on the app or something like that. And so the guy shows up, someone's in his seat, and I guess he wasn't, I don't know, maybe he wasn't diplomatic enough about it. I'm not blaming anybody here, but it escalates into a fist fight, and a 63-year-old man versus a guy who looks like he is in his 20s. It's not even close. He falls over, and then there's, I don't know, it's only about 15 seconds of mayhem, but the 63-year-old Florida man ended up having to go to the hospital for this, and police did not find the guy that beat him up because he and his date immediately left. And so, was it worth it? You fought over a seat, and now neither one of you got it? Of course it doesn't make sense. This is Florida Stories, but the video's brutal. Don't go watch it. Just take my word for it. It's exactly what you think it is. Hold my beer.
Hold my beer.
Hold my beer.
Hold my beer. What is it?
For our next Florida story, we are going to go to Sarasota. And in this one, I don't know. We might just have to skip this one. Let me read you the headline, and then we can all decide together if you want to hear the rest of this story. The headline says, quite simply, Sarasota CNA accused of molesting assisted living residents at multiple facilities. Police looking for more victims. You want to do that one, or you want to skip it? You want to skip it? Okay, we'll skip that one. Hold my beer.
Hold my beer.
Hold my beer.
Hold my beer. What is this?
Florida man steals a 6-foot-tall Captain Morgan statue. Exactly what it sounds like too, but in this video, yeah, you're missing the why. Why does this guy steal a Captain Morgan statue? And like, what are you talking about, a Captain Morgan statue? Like a figurine? No, you should see this thing, man. This thing fills up the entire bed of his pickup truck. He's got a black pickup, and he knocks this, he backs it up to this big statue of Captain Morgan that looks like it's sitting outside of a gas station or a bar or something. I can't tell. And he dumps it over into the back of his truck, and it fills up the whole thing. Like, he can't even shut the tailgate. And it's a beautiful statue. It's majestic. And so, look, I'm not saying I understand why he stole it, but I can tell you that I wish I had one of these. I'd be ecstatic to have one of these Captain Morgan statues. This is a glorious piece of art. I'm a big fan of Captain Morgan to begin with. I'm just a big fan of pirates all around. And what do you do with this? Do you keep it? Is there a black market for Captain Morgan? Because, you would think that's not likely, but I don't know. I think I'd be dumb enough to buy that if it was on some guy came up, it's like, hey, dude, you want a Captain Morgan statue? I wouldn't care. I'd be like, don't tell me if it's hot or not. My answer is yes. What's your price? I think that's where I would be. Hold my beer.
Hold my beer.
Hold my beer.
Hold my beer. What is this?
Florida Stories is produced by Spring Rock. Follow me on Twitter at Florida Stories J. I'm James Parker, and this is Florida Stories. James Parker here. I've been working with Dwayne Stein on the radio version of Mortgage Gumbo for years, and then a couple of years ago, I actually needed a mortgage. Me and my wife were moving to another state, and this was complicated. I'm a self-employed guy, so I like to, for tax purposes, have my income as low as possible. So does that hurt me qualifying? Wife is quitting her job and taking a new job. We're selling an existing house while at the same time buying a new house. All kinds of complications. And Dwayne's not just full of hot air on the radio show. He took the reins, took care of it for me, got all my paperwork. Him and Sam teamed up, and if there was a request for more info, they usually jumped on it before I even saw the email. Someone, I'm not going to name any names, but one of our realtors missed something in the paperwork, and Dwayne caught it. I'm not making this up just to make a good commercial. He's legit. So if you're buying, you need a refi, reverse, anything like that, call Dwayne Stein at Mortgage Gumbo. Go to mortgagegumbo.com.
Dad can.